God, is that good? Hello, everybody. Welcome to my humble abode, which will be my humble abode for 3 more days. I'm finally doing the big move to Georgia, so this is going to be the last video by my awesome fireplace here. So before I get started with the video, I'll talk about this a little bit. I love this fireplace. It is the perfect dimensions. You know, it's not too big, it's not too small. It throws a ton of heat out into the room. And you know, the thing about a fireplace is when you're heating a home, you want something that the brick gets nice and hot. And that's what happens with this. This is just, I wouldn't want a bigger fireplace because it would be too big and you'd be wasting too much wood, and that's more for aesthetics. And I wouldn't want a smaller fireplace because this thing is big enough to throw some big honking logs in there, you know. But anyway, enough of that. For my last video here, anyway, I'm moving to Chattanooga, so there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff from there, I'm sure. I want to talk about one of my biggest critiques for Dave Canterbury and how where that went. So my biggest critique is he has always sold these canteen nested bottle kits, right? And the largest one that you could get was 48 ounces. And I always believed that was because he couldn't find a bigger nesting cup to do it with a 64 fluid ounce. You know, and here's my reasoning. When I go hiking, right, let's say I go hiking on a hot day. My favorite place to do my training hikes in the Chicago area is Starved Rock. That's also the only place. We're looking at about 14 miles end to end and back if you visit all the canyons and stuff. And there's 2 ways you can do it. You can go along the bottom by the river. You could go along the top, or you could do what I do. You could go up to the top, down into the canyon, visit the canyon, back up to the top, and you can kind of go like this, right? And you have all kinds of cool stairs. Great for your calves, by the way. So, in my observations with myself, I used to have this Vietnam-era 5-quart collapsible canteen, and those of you that are as old school as me will probably remember these things. They were the original water bladder, and what I had mine on a sling, and then I would fill it up, and by the time I got done, hiking and was ready to head back to the campsite, gone, 5 quarts gone. All right. Now, I found that I could also do it on 4 quarts, right, and limit my water intake to 1 gallon a day under those conditions. And that's probably the most extreme conditions that I would ever run in. So my belief is that you really need to be able to carry a day's worth of water in case you don't find anything. And a lot of people disagree because they have a lot of water sources and whatnot. But when you're at Starved Rock, sure, okay, there's all these canyons and all these streams, and you could filter and everything. But what happened when I go to Garden of the Gods? At Garden of the Gods, I found that all the little tributaries and runoffs were dry. There was no water in there, and which became a big problem when I fell and twisted my ankle, which that happened, and that video is already filmed, and it's still in post-production and all that. I'll probably, have it sometime later, but and you'll get to see a little bit of it because my filming all just went to hell after that. But so those life lessons have taught me that you need to carry a minimum of a day's water with you. You can't do that on 48 ounces when you need 1 gallon, right? So the solution that I was always proposing was there needs to be a nesting cup for a 2-quart bottle, and there just wasn't. And I've looked as far and high and wide. I couldn't find anything. And I've posted many times that this is my critique for Canterbury because he doesn't have access to a 2-quart bottle and nesting cup combination. And that's the only reason why he's pushing those 48-ounce ones. If he had one, and it would be on his site and he'd be selling it. I guarantee it. So I've made this comment on one of the Facebook bushcraft forums, and somebody comes by and posts a link to this. And as you can see, I'm using it. I made hot cocoa and it overfilled. But this is a 2-quart nesting cup. It's huge. This thing is huge. It's too big to be a nesting cup. It's 48 ounces all by itself, and it nests into the 2-quart stainless steel bottle that he sells. Unfortunately, it won't fit this one. This is the Clean Canteen version in a homemade little case that I made. This case is probably 15 years old or so. It's starting to wear, and I'm going to have to make a new one soon. But let's get this guy out of here, and I'll show you what happens. So this is Clean Canteen's bottle. It's no worky, right? But Canterbury's bottle is a tiny little bit smaller in diameter and a tiny little bit taller, and it nests perfectly with the cup. So what does this mean? This means that I can no longer rag on Canterbury for not carrying these things. He's got them. And so I bought one of these, and unfortunately it doesn't fit my bottle, but if you've seen some of my other videos, you know that I carry this Vargo bot in my pack. And the way I do it is, you can see my burn marks there. The way I do it is I will drink a quart or close to a quart of water before I even leave camp. And then I'll carry 1 quart in this and 2 quarts in the Clean Canteen. That gives me a gallon for the day. So, start a quart in me and 3 quarts in the pack. And that seems to work out. That way, if I'm in a situation where I can't, restock, then I'm covered at least for the day. And then if I could hit some water sources on the way, I've got a filter system. I'll stop and I'll do that, because I always want to be carrying water and making sure that I have enough water for real. Okay, and there's a lot of people out there that, I see their videos, and I'm going to hold this here because this light is killing my eyes. There's a lot of people that I see out there, and you look at their water systems, and you're like, what are you thinking? Their equipment is all brand new. You can tell they've never had to actually really do anything other than a short little, local hike or something. But water is really, really important, and you go through a lot more of it than you think you do. Me, I have gout. One of my triggers is dehydration, and if I get a gout attack out in the woods, that's it. I'm done for a few days till it works its way through, assuming it's not really severe, and really severe would need some kind of medication, and I have a prescription for that I can use, and blah, 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 but it still takes a few days to really work. So what you have to do is you have to prevent it, and that's preventing it requires you being properly hydrated. So what's happening with my kit now is, obviously, things are heavy. Things have weight to them. And this has weight, It doesn't take up any more space because inside my pack, and if you could go to my What's My Pack video, you see this. My water bladder wraps around here and it goes into the side pocket. Well, I can just do this, right? This nests, the bot nests with the 2-quart cup. 48 ounces. And then it slides into the pack, and it doesn't take up any more space, and then I just put the bladder around that. So that means that this guy here, my long-standing cook pot set, it's a Tech Sport, by the way. Mine is a single-person backpacker's cook kit. I don't know if they even make it anymore, but the 2-person one is out there. And here's the deal with this. So, it comes with a couple of little lids. It's got a small little cook pot that it still has a lot of the copper on the bottom because I don't really use this that often. In fact, in recent years, just to save a little weight, I even stopped carrying it. This would be good for if you have kids. You'd cook their meal in that. The main cook pot, this has been abused. The copper on the bottom is gone. I've had it so long and I've used it so many times that the copper's wore off. This has always been my primary cook pot, and I have a lot of sentimental attachment to it. This has fed me. So this has fed me more than anything else ever. I've had this since the early 90s. And if you buy the 2-person backpacking kit, this is the small pot that they give you, and then they give you a larger one that it nests into. And then, of course, there's a frying pan that comes with it. I don't use this that often either, but I do use it. So the two-person one has a slightly bigger one, but the whole thing basically, nests together. And it's the point of this is, I love this thing, and it's killing me to get rid of it. But I can't carry, this and that. It's one or the other. You can only carry so much weight, and I'm struggling to keep my pack at 45 pounds as it is. I suppose if it's the zombie apocalypse, I could justify a little bit more weight. I have a larger fishing kit and the full fire kit and everything like that. But just keeping as light as I can has always been a hard thing. So this is just, where did it go? This thing here. This is so useful, and it fits into my system so much better. This is what I do. And I do it with this kit, but this works better because it's bigger. Look at the size difference. And this is only a little bit wider, right? So what I do with this, or will be doing, it hasn't seen field use yet. It's only seen me burn my hot cocoa. But what I do with this is the night before, when we're done with the fire and the cooking and all that, this gets filled with water along with the other two guys. The 2 quart over here and the bot over there. So put it with the fire, bring everything to a boil, right? And then let it cool enough to where I could cap it. And then this guy comes with a lid. All right, this is awesome. The lid has got a pretty nice, it fits pretty snug. For those of you that use that little fish mouth tool that Canterbury sells, looks like wherever he gets these things from, I don't think it comes with those, so it looks like he's drilling holes in the side and using a nibbler. I could tell by the way the metal is deformed up here. He took a nibbler to it to make the little side slots. It looks really good. I mean, you have to be someone in the business to see that. But and then there's some holes drilled in the top. So what it is it fits pretty snug here, right? So you just cap this, okay? Put it in a safe place in your camp. Then when you wake up in the morning, your first batch of water is already cool. You just drink that and you go. And also the lid is kind of cool too, because it's got the little holes are drilled here, so you could kind of use it in where'd it go? You could use it in sippy cup mode, is what I call. You could put it like that, and I sort of I kind of put my hand through here, drink it like that. And this gives you a little bit of filtering. So like, let's say you get your water from a stream or something, and you have, or there's some sort of particulates in there. A good example of particulates is when I make my hot cocoa, I don't use like Swiss Miss. I take a bar of baker's chocolate and I melt that with some sugar and I throw some milk or cream or something in that. Right? Well, sometimes your baker's chocolate has some solids in it that don't seem to really melt really well. Well, these little holes are a perfect size to filter that out. So even though that's in the hot cocoa in here, it comes out nice and smooth. But anyway, that's just what I wanted to say. I'm no longer going to be able to make my favorite Dave Canterbury complaint, and this is without a doubt something that has been needed by the bushcraft community for a long time. It's a piece of kit that I've been looking for a decade. So I'm going to hand it to Canterbury for finally coming out and putting this together. And I would encourage everybody to buy this, the nesting bottle, and the 2 quart clean canteen. And then what you do is you put one on your pack, on your waistband, like this, and the one on the other side, so the weight of the water counterbalances out, and you have a full gallon that you can carry a day's worth of water under any condition. All right, that's pretty much all I got to say. So my next video that I shoot will be in Chattanooga, and I'll see you then. Remember, get out there.
side, partner, it's my day. Bend an ear and listen to my version of a really solid Tennessee excursion. Pardon me, boy, is that the Chattanooga choo-choo? Yes, track 29. Boy, you can give me a shine. Can you afford to board Chattanooga choo-choo? I got my fare and just a trifle to spare. You leave the Pennsylvania station about 3:45. Read a magazine and then you're in Baltimore.
Dinner in the diner, nothing could be finer
than to have your ham and eggs in Carolina. When you hear the whistle blowing 8 to the bar, then you know that Tennessee is not very far.
Shovel all the coal in, gotta keep it rolling.
Woo woo, Chattanooga, there you are. There's gonna be a certain party at the station.
Satin and lace,
I used to call Funny Face. She's gonna cry until I tell her that I'll never roam. So Chattanooga choo-choo, won't you choo-choo me home? Chattanooga.